Yeah, I used to say, I used to say very okay.
Very
And
okay.
that would confuse
That's a little
people.
confusing, yeah. I quite often say swell to people just because it's, something that you don't hear.
Yeah.
People go, swell. Oh, yeah.
Good day, my brothers. Good day, everyone. AJ Steve, welcome back to the Reclaim podcast. How are you going today?
All right, pretty excellent, I'd say.
Pretty excellent, yeah.
Pretty excellent.
So here we are for another episode where we'll talk about something you've never come across, AJ. I mean, you have come across Android applications, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Are you an Android person or an iPhone
No, I'm
person?
a Mac person. I use
Oh,
Android many years ago. I'm sorry. I did have a Samsung phone
And
and I
now
actually
you
used
can't
that in the
change,
Philippines.
right? You're locked in. Yeah.
No, I'm open. I don't discriminate.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
Very diplomatic of you.
Yeah, well, in this case, look, we will show you an Android application, but the iOS application is still in the works. It is unfortunately, tied up by Apple. Apple is super stringent when it comes to approving the apps that can go on their stores. Yes, so it's a very, very difficult and lengthy process. But we've got the Android app, and I'm showing you here something that depends where we release this episode, but that is still in staging, so it hasn't been officially released. And that is the new version that is. So there is an existing version that exists, but what I've got here is the application, and that we call it the Scan 4-point application that will allow everyone and anyone with an Android device to go and scan the area they are in. And when I say scanning, it's checking the strength of surrounding networks. So the quality, it's doing a ping test just to see how fast it is. So we're assessing the quality of the networks and the amount of networks available in the specific location that you're in.
Or not.
Or not, correct.
Okay.
Because the idea is, we're not here to flood World Mobile Network over existing network, because the point is to connect the unconnected, but also, to empower people to be on a platform that provides privacy and so forth, that is held in the hand of the community, where profit goes back to the community members. But we obviously need to understand where we want to target our efforts first, and therefore this scanning application is a kind of a crowdfunded.
It's crowdsourcing data.
Crowdsourcing,
basically.
that's it. Yeah.
Crowdsourcing connection data. So perhaps maybe you live in an area or an area nearby that's poorly connected, or perhaps you're a hex guardian, which you'll find out at some point, but is basically someone that's locally motivated to try and connect an area for whatever reason. And so you can download this application and start scanning and travel around the place, be it through your normal sort of day-to-day movements, or be it deliberately to go out and scan certain areas and do it hex by hex. So telecommunications is built on this cell structure, essentially. But so basically scanning the area, seeing what's available, what the coverage is like, what the quality is. And so then that is going to empower you, the person that scans, because apparently the scanning person is going to have access to the data that they've collected. And so this is probably through hex guardians, I would imagine. And this empowers you to then sort of go, well, okay, we need to put an air node here, there, and here, and this is probably a good area, and maybe you can start approaching businesses or residential houses or whatever it is that's in your area. Say, hey, look, I'd like to stick something on your roof, and you're going to earn some money from it. every month you're going to, probably earn X amount of dollars. So it's just basically collecting that sort of information so that we know where to fill the. I think Mr. T refers to it as the Swiss cheese problem. This is probably a term that's used in the telco industry.
Yeah.
But basically, you can imagine what that is, right? So you've got cheese everywhere, and then you've got holes in the cheese where the
unless it's melted.
How does that cheese get those holes? Do they like?
That's a secret.
Sample it. Oh, it's top secret.
Top secret.
No, don't know.
But basically, because those maps are super expensive. If your standard telco has to actually purchase those maps because they obviously want to know where to deploy their next antenna. We're talking millions of dollars, and the World Mobile is all about decentralization and empowering people. So we have people roaming around the earth. Why don't we just empower them to do the scanning, and therefore we can have those maps built. We can have them actually in a much better position where those maps are almost live, because I've got my daily commute, and if I scan, I could scan every day or every 2 days or every 5 days, whenever. But that data gets actually is a lot fresher than data that would have been done by a surveyor that comes around every year. So it's a lot more live.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
really
valuable
cool.
data, and sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's giving Pokemon Go and
Exactly,
guerrilla style kind of data collection, which is really cool. I like how sort of grassroots it sort of seems. In the lead up to recording today, actually, I was thinking about some of the gaps that I can think of that would directly impact me and other rock climbers, Arapalis and Grampians. It's a high risk sport with rock climbing, and we don't have very good signal out there. So that's definitely a place
this is
I'm like,
something I've
please
thought
get
about
data.
for the Blue Mountains area, outside Sydney, because while there is coverage along the main roads and, where the suburbia is, out in those areas where people are bushwalking and, people go missing and rock climbing and everything else, if you were to put up an aerostat that would cover that, one aerostat would cover that entire area, and it would be far easier to get signal and get help.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, an aerostat
cool.
in Sydney on the edge of the mountain would be fantastic there. Yeah.
So there's an aerostat on Dave's shirt. It's basically a balloon, but they go up. Oh, it's going to test my memory now. I think it was like
350.
maximum of 300 meters. They were saying, and so the sort of coverage area. I think the line of sight coverage to the horizon at that height is somewhere around, was it somewhere around
154.
Yeah,
Okay.
150 kilometre. Was that radius or diameter?
Radius.
I think it was radius, yeah. So covers a very large area. So you could imagine if you put 4 or 5 of them in a string, you could get from Sydney to Melbourne. So
Yeah.
so
Cool.
flying one of those, and I believe they could take about, last I heard, it was about 100,000 users could connect simultaneously through a aerostat, and then you down to the ground, via a cable essentially. So those balloons are tethered to the ground, and you run an optical fibre up to the top of it, and then beam out to cover that area.
And that's it. So once we've identified through that crowdsourced scanning that there is a gap in connectivity, then we can go and address that problem. Because the model wouldn't work if we're saying, okay, hey guys, this is a online shop. You can just buy an antenna, put it in your home, and hopefully you're gonna earn some money from it. But if you actually live in an area that is already covered by 2 or 3 telcos, there's basically no need for it. It's inefficient, and it's not going to provide you much at all, because you're not going to serve many. The point of this application is it's fantastic. That crowdsourcing. I love this. It's a bit like the Hive Mapper system. So Hive Mapper is another blockchain project where you stick a video camera onto your car, and that camera is recording, like basically the Google Street View, but that is crowdsourced.
The people-powered one, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this application, a Well Mobile application, I think was released in Zanzibar first, because that's how they manage their subscription. Few things were in that Android applications. You used to have a scanning system. You used to have a shop where you could spend your rewards, claiming gift cards and things like this.
Yeah, so I think we should highlight at this point that while one of the incentives for doing this is to, build out your own network in a local area, the other is that, the application is called Scan for Points. And so as you scan hexes, you earn points. And at the moment, you can't do a lot with those points except bank them, but as in, hold on to them. But there is a number of pathways being looked at how people can then use these rewards. Because, like we said, this data is valuable. And so these points, will hold some value and will be used for a number of things, perhaps things like reducing the cost of your connection to World Mobile. So, if your monthly SIM bill, and also trading in for maybe World Mobile token and all sorts of other things. We'll see. Cheaper merch, something like that. They're looking at a number of things. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
This was all in the application. You also had like a crypto wallet in the application. But now a lot of those tools are moving into a web-based application. And the Android app is focusing primarily now on scanning. I took some screenshots here. So that's what you've got. You're being welcomed to Well Mobile, and you're able to either log in, obviously if you previously logged in, but if not, you have to create your own account. You will see screens that actually explain you that yes, those features have been removed, as I spoke earlier. So the shop and the crypto wallet and the gift cards. You are able to actually create a self-sovereign identity, so which is a wallet. So you're being provided with those 24 words. It's like a very long password, if you may. And that gives you access to that account. But just to show you what it looks like is you have, so you heard us talk about hexagons, and we have divided the whole world in hexagons. And you have basically points on those hexagons. You can see they're all worth 10 points, and they are color-coded yellow. That's because nothing has been scanned yet. But in the screen in the middle, the minute I go and activate the scanning, I will just start collecting those points and changing those hexes into green hexes with a little tick. So that indicates that the hexagon has been scanned, data has been gathered, we've tested the networks, we did ping tests and all this, and you have been awarded those 10 points. You can run the scan for 30 minutes, an hour, or even up to 12 hours. So if you go for a long road trip, just go for your life and scan as much as you want, because that's going to give you a lot of points. This is just going down to the color coding. If a hexagon has never been scanned by any member of the community, you will earn 10 points. But let's say Steve comes around to my place and put his scanning on. He will be able to scan that hexagon, but for less points, for maybe 9 points or 8 points, depending on how many people have already scanned that hexagon.
I think it already also depends on time, doesn't it? Because there's an incentive behind having the data refreshed occasionally.
Correct,
so I think every number of months or something.
It's 3 months, 90 days. Every 90 days it will reset, just to incentivize you to go and scan it again. Yes, so if you scan the same hex every single day, you're only going to get 10 points once, but 3 months later, you'll be able to get points. But again, that's to incentivize you to keep on scanning. You now have a great feature in this version of the app is the history. So you can see the whole history of your scans, either on a list mode, but also on a detailed view with the map. As you can see here, you've got the the trajectory, all the hexes that you can zoom in, all the hexes that I have scanned already. So I can plan my next trip to go and somewhere else, for example. That's fantastic there. And this is kind of your dashboard. We've got a way of gamifying a bit the experience. So you've got badges. The more points you earn, the more badges you would collect. This is all around, game theory and just gamifying the experience to incentivize people. So yeah, a lot of things will be put in place around rewards when it comes to how many points you've collected. So we have people that have, I think Manny did 5 million points. I think over a meal, and there's different threshold, and just to incentivize people. But basically, for anyone who is interested, you just hop onto X and you look for the hashtag #ScanSaturday, and you'll find a whole heap of people out there around the world. As you can see, we've got people in Italy, in I think Cambodia, by the look of it, in Rio, all around the world. They are scanning, and that's exciting because you can really have a sense of the power of the community out there. We've got Manny, the person there was, I think that's his wife there. He's a taxi driver in Delhi, I think, or somewhere in India. And yeah, I think he's our #1 scanner. So taxi drivers do a great job for us. Truckies in Australia, for example. I've done a lot in running when I go running out there, for example. And every time I use a different path, and I scan as much as I can, yeah.
So should I be telling all my rock climbing friends to get this app if they?
For sure, stay safe. Don't rock climb on one hand with the phone on the other.
Well, you don't need to. It runs in the background. So.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah, even this version even has like picture-in-picture. So the app can run in the background. You can have the picture-in-picture mode as well.
Oh, that's new.
Yes, that's new. That's really good.
Cool. So when it's running in the background, for those that are quite adventurous, does it chew a lot of battery?
It's been optimized. So there is the scanning mode is like a smart mode, it's called. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if it senses that you are not moving at a specific speed, it will not try and scan. But if it can see that you've got a certain velocity, then it will start pinging just to make sure every time you cross a new hex, you actually get to scan it.
Yeah, so I think if you're traveling at a greater speed, like if you're in a car or something, then you're going to be using more battery power because you're going to be scanning more often. But at the same time, you can then plug into the car and stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be plugged in, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was curious about. Like if you're out adventuring.
It's going to vary a lot from phone to phone, people's phones and things. So,
yeah, gotcha.
But I used it quite a bit, and I didn't really find it was chewing a lot of power like, say, Pokemon Go does comparatively.
Yeah, because I think that's definitely important in the remote areas or when you're out adventuring. You're not necessarily, you
don't have lots of power.
Yeah, you're going to be rationing a bit until you can get back to base camp to, charge up your devices. So, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
So when you're walking, for example, you'll cross a hex. Depends how fast you go, but every 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So it's just you don't actually see it, but your phone is constantly checking for your location, for the nearest signal, is pinging all the time.
That's right. It's constantly handing off between the cells.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the hexes, right? The whole terminology of cell phones came because this hex pattern, what you can do is take, if you have a certain frequency spectrum, then you cut it up into 3 parts, and then with the hex tessellation, you can basically have always not two of the same frequency pieces touching each other. So whenever you're moving around, you're constantly getting handed off between those 3 buckets, right? So your phone is always constantly reaching out to tower saying, hey, I'm here. So if a call does come into you, it gets routed to you. Yeah. So I don't think it's a big drain compared to what your phone is already doing anyway.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. What do you think of this, AJ?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I like how efficient it is, and it seems to significantly reduce like the costs of actually getting things off the ground. Both reduces costs and both reduces the time, it seems.
100%. So
Yeah.
the efficiency of the deployment, the cost of the deployment, because World Mobile itself as a company would have had to pay tens and millions of dollars just to get access to those maps. And that's where, we incentivize people. And as we say,
Empowering
together
people
we're stronger.
to solve their own connectivity problems through World Mobile. Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. That's really cool.
There we go. So the app should be, I'm pretty sure should be out by the time you see this podcast. So go out and try it. It's available on the Android App Store for now, and hopefully very soon the iOS as well.
Cool. One more question.
Yes.
Should everyone get scanning, or are there some areas that people should be like, like, for example, is it just a no-brainer if you're in the middle of Sydney or like somewhere very metropolitan that you maybe shouldn't bother?
Well, it depends, what your motivation is. Certainly, you get points everywhere. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Sydney, in highly populated areas, because that data is still valuable, because you want to find the Swiss cheese places, the holes, right? But also it's just data that's valuable that people will pay for. Then, to know, hey, what is our network coverage still working well in this area, whatever else. Because I think probably what also comes into it is not just is their network there, but what is the quality, how many people are using it in that area affects, the network quality. So all of that data is still useful.
Cool. Thanks.
It is. So go scan for your life.
And it'll be a way of earning some, free-ish, let's call it free-ish, World Mobile token. Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
I might
you
have
can't
to
have
switch
enough.
over to Android.
That's it.
Yeah, hopefully with this new version, we'll see the iOS version. Out
Yeah,
pretty,
true. Yeah.
pretty
I did
soon
momentarily
because
forget
of
about.
the change in getting rid of the shop and stuff. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep us posted.
Will do. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next one.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Bye.